Hey everybody, Mungo Dark Matter here, and today I thought I'd do a tutorial on how to use the ARP or Arpeggiator in the Moog Model 15 synthesizer app for the iPad. I'm not going to really go over basics in this of how to use the Moog Model 15. I'm going to just use a preset and show you how the ARP works basically. The first thing I'm going to do is go over the interface, and then I'll demonstrate the parts of the interface because right now I'm using a program called Air Server so that I can project the iPad's interface on my PC and record it. The problem is once I start playing the sounds with the Moog, they lag behind a little bit, or can lag behind a little bit, and it causes the display to get behind and such. So what I'll do is I'll show you all of the where all the buttons are on this interface first, and then I'll do a demonstration and recapture that using the iPad itself, and then that will be the second part of this demonstration. So to start out with, right up here we have the preset that's a lead preset, and it's called Needs a Distortion Pedal. That could be any preset really. Down here we have the keyboard, it's on, and over here to the right, these buttons right here, if you tap them, keys, anti-Moog, ARP, and ribbon, that changes the interface. And so what I'm going to do right now is I am going to tap on ARP and bring that up on the screen so we can go over the interface of the ARP real quick. Alright, this is the basic interface of the ARP. The most important thing on here is this bottom row. You can adjust velocity, which is how hard you hit the key, and you can adjust pitch, which is what the pitch is based on what's pressed on the keyboard. So if we press C on the keyboard and we move it up 1/2 step, it's going to be a C sharp. If we do it a full step, it's going to be D, and so on. It will go up to 10 half steps above the tone you have on, or down to -10 half steps below the key that you have pressed. We're not going to use that at first when we demonstrate it, because we're going to demonstrate some other methods that the Arpeggiator uses to set patterns. Now if we go over here to this plus right here, if I tap on it on the screen, you'll see that it pops up, and it has a bunch of different things that we can set as far as the pattern goes. For example, it has sort order, which is currently low to high. That means that it's going to take the lowest note that we press on the keyboard, and it's going to go in order to the highest, and then repeat that pattern. So if we have just one key, it doesn't really do anything. If we have multiple keys, it will go up the scale, only the keys that we have pressed down. If the velocity mode right now on each note direction is up, which means it's going upwards. And then the step size is 1/8, which means it's 8 notes. The octave range is 0. We can actually change this so that it will go low, high, low, high. And then the pattern length is 8, so it's 8 notes. And each one of these buttons down here corresponds to a note. And if they're lit up, that means they'll play. If we click the button and it goes out, that means it doesn't play. So that's one thing we can do to change the pattern, because we can only really set whether they're the duration of the step size. Each step has to be the same size, but we don't have to play every step. That's generally how arpeggiators and sequencers work. So down here on the keyboard, we have this button here that turns on the arpeggiator, and the one next to it is hold. The hold one means if you press the key, it will stay down. So there are two ways you can play the arpeggiation. You could turn on the arpeggiator and hold a key down, and it will arpeggiate that key for the time that you have it held down. Or if you hold down a chord, it will do each key in a sequence. Or you can hit hold, which keeps the key held down, which is nice for this application since it's a tablet or an iPad. It's not a regular keyboard, and it's a little bit harder to hold all the stuff down at once, and so that helps a lot on this, as we'll see when we demonstrate it. Those are the basic controls of this. So now I'm going to switch over and I'm going to do a recording from the iPad itself so that the music of this is in sync, and I will be able to better show you how it works without any lag between the screen display and the sound. Alright, now I'm going to do a demo of how this actually works in practice. So I have it set to needs a distortion pedal as the preset. I'm going to go here over to the right and hit the plus button to bring up the menu for the ARP. And it turns into a minus. If I hit the minus, it disappears. If I hit the plus again, it comes back. This is the main menu of the ARP to adjust patterns on it. And so we're going to start out here with the sort order of low to high, velocity each note, direction up, step size 1/8, octave is 0 range, and the pattern is a length of 8. You can make that any length from 1 to 8 because we have 8 buttons across the bottom. Across the bottom of the controls, these buttons control which notes of the step are played. So I'm going to turn the ARP on here, and you'll see it's going all the way across and lighting every light. If I click this hold button down here above the keyboard and hold a note down, it's sounding in eighth notes. If I hit any one of these lights or buttons and turn them off, it won't play that step. If I put them back on, it will play them again. Now, if I hit more than one note down here and hold it, 2 or 3, it will play it in a pattern, and it's based on the menu above what it's playing. So it's playing them low to high, each note, in the direction up, step size 1/8, pattern length of 8. In 0 octave range. I can change the direction, and I can actually go up, down, or just down, and so it's going up and then down, up and then down. I can go up and down too. So you can mess with these different patterns, or I can go random. I'm going to just put it back to up again so that we're only really changing one variable at a time. The step size I could change to anything. I could change it to a 4th, which slows it down, or 1/16, which speeds up the notes. We'll put it back at 1/8. You can change the octave range, so I can go 0 and 1, so it plays the pattern and then goes up an octave and plays the pattern. Or I can go to play it down a half step, or an octave, not a half step. It goes down an octave, and then to the regular octave that it's set at. Or I can go from 0 to 3 octaves up. Pattern length I usually leave on 8, but you can change it depending on what you're doing. 8 seems to generally work out pretty good. You might want to shorten it for various reasons. You can actually have it anywhere from 1 to 8, as I had mentioned. All right, so now let's turn this off for now. I have this switch on the left set down to pitch, so this lower line of dials will set or change the pitch of the note pressed on the keyboard in increments of a half step, either up 10 half steps or down 10 half steps. So let's see how that works. Let's turn back on the hold and hold a key. So I'm going to change these knobs just randomly. So I can have them go up or down. And so it's changed everything. If I double tap on any knob, it sets it back to 0. So it will play the key that's pressed. So as I go and tap these across, pattern's changing back. And so now it's all the same key again, or all the same note again. All right, so that's basically the tools on the ARP that you can use. You can experiment around with what I showed you. This is just basically how it works. I didn't go into every little thing under every menu because you can change quite a bit. But this gives you enough knowledge to at least begin to experiment with the arpeggiator and use it. I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and this has been Dark Matters, and whatever you do, enjoy the day, and I will see you soon.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.